All right, so we're going to be talking about the volume profile, and we're also going to use a volume, regular volume in it as well. But I have them on both sides. Usually you just look at it like this or this, either side. But for now, I'll just put them both on there. The red line is the point of control, right? And I have that noted right here, point of control, the POC, and that's the most traded price of the profile. And whatever your profile is depends on what indicator you're using. And for this particular one, specific one, we're looking at the whole screen's worth of trading. And if I added price into it, that's what we'd be looking at, right? So the whole volume profile from March 4th to now. And it's basically saying that up here, there is a ton of volume. And down here, there is a ton of volume. There's a medium amount of volume right here. As you can see, there was a little bit of buyers that tried right there. And then there is like no volume from here to here, right? That's what that's saying. And when I say no volume, I really mean low volume, but compared to everything else, right? So what does that mean, right? Why is this one shaded, or why is this one shadow and this one dark, like kind of lighter, I guess? This area here is the low volume or low value area. And it basically just means that out of all of this here, 70% of the volume is up here. 70% is up here, and only 30% is down here. So the low volume areas more or less work as support or resistance, right? They aren't where price is searching for. If price gets into a low volume area, it's usually going to find a higher value area. So that is the low volume area. The high volume area is the everything above it, right? So this is kind of the area where price really wants to maybe get to. And as you can see, it dipped into this and then it kind of went off. Now, this is a high volume node. Each one of these are nodes. So it's just however big these are, that's how much price is inside it. But these are individual nodes. This is a high volume node inside of a low value area. So those are like really good to look to bounce off of. But what we're going to be looking at today is whenever these areas of low volume, or I guess the areas of high volume, get broken into the areas of the low volume nodes, we're going to backtest and we're going to see if price likes to break through these and go and reach the next value areas, or if it likes to maybe reject out of these and stay within the value. So I'm also going to be looking at regular volume. And just to go over that real quick, just so everyone knows like what we're going to be looking at really. A high volume candle, obviously you can see high volume, high volume, high volume, right? What we want to see associated with high volume is a big spread candle, right? We want to see big candles to confirm kind of the price action, right? If there's high volume and there's a low spread candle, kind of like let's see. Let's go to just find the high volumes. Right here, that's usually signaling some type of anomaly, right? Or the other way around, if price is moving one way, kind of pretty like trendy, right? Or just continuing to go in one direction, and the volume kind of doesn't come along with it, if it doesn't increase with it, then that's another sign of an anomaly. So basically today, what we're going to be looking for, this is GU right now. And if it breaks this high, it pretty much, it really has to break this, because this is still a value a valuable volume spot. And it's basically right here, right? If it breaks this high, it's gonna probably fly to this area because there's just no orders here. And you can see in the past, it broke through that area pretty quickly because there was no orders. The next orders came in right here. So when it goes, if it goes through here and breaks through and closes nicely, it's most likely going straight to here. And it might just pause here for a little bit because this is just a medium volume node, as I've noted, and probably going to go up into this next area of interest, which is also the point of control, right? So that's what we're going to be looking for on these backtesting sessions. I'm going to be wanting to see the volume pick up. And let's look at an example. When I went live yesterday, I looked at an example on, I mean, even today, but yesterday's was perfect on the NASDAQ. All right. We were on the lower time frames. And yesterday was around here. Okay. And this is what it was looking like. Okay, and you can see how there was like this low volume starting to come in this area down here. And let's see, exactly where were we yesterday when we did this? Today is 25th, 24th, around this time. So what I was seeing, and now that there's so much price in it, it's not the same. So let's do this. This is a good example. Okay. So look, there's literally like lowest volume we've seen in a couple days in this area right here, right? So I was saying that if these lows got broken to the downside, we're most likely coming straight into this area. And so I highlighted this. And I use some other indicators as well. So I'll just throw those on just at the time so we can look at them. What this is the daily point of control, right? So it's going to change every day. The volume profile is going to change every day. And you can see that this day had a very nice point of control down in here. So I was noting that if price broke through here, broke through this day's low, it had already done it twice. Moved fast. I was expecting if it breaks this low with volume and with a good close, that it would move kind of fast. All right. And so let's bring out this one and show y'all what this is. This one is the volume for the week. So the weekly volume hadn't really given me a whole lot of info yet, other than maybe be a little careful because the volume, the POC is up high. And eventually I was thinking that this is going to come get hit. So the overall trade was like this. And we were looking for it to come down into this. I think someone was on it yesterday, right? But we were basing it off of the volume profile really, and not this one. We were looking at this one. Not that one, right? And so low volume here, high volume into there. It makes sense. If it breaks here, it should go to the next volume area, right? So when we got, hold on, I'm giving it away, but I mean, it already happened anyway, and we played it live, right? So right off the bat, and kind of when I move this is going to move. So just remember that this is our area of low volume, basically. So I'm just going to do that and keep it like that, because whenever I move, this is going to move. So I'm just going to erase that because we already have the trade idea set in stone. Now, we were on the 5-minute, I believe, as well. We ended up going down to the 1 at one point, but you can see the volume starting to pick up. This is the New York Open. It's always going to pick up on the NASDAQ at these points, or at this time. But still, nonetheless, when we saw this break right here, and we still got high volume with it, Okay, we had this line right there, and that broke. That was the entry. Pretty much signaling right here, you know, and it's a little early, right? But that's okay. That we're going to come back down into here because there's no orders. All right, so the speed is what we're trying to get. The speed, how it just rolls straight through, and that's kind of what we got out of that. And it was a nice little move, but see exactly where it came to. The point of control of the day before, right? Or 2 days before. So it came right into this volume area perfectly and took off. So we're going to be watching all that stuff when I'm backtesting. I'm not necessarily going to be looking at how good, how many trades did I win or what percentage did I get. I want to just watch the indicator, and I'm going to, since I've been studying this stuff for a long time already, I'm going to walk through the indicator and what it's doing, what I'm seeing, what it should do. Of course, I'm not going to be right 100% of the time, but I'll be able to help y'all understand this indicator and understand what I'm seeing when I post something or when I say something when I'm going live. Because when I get going on this stuff, y'all have seen me go, and I like kind of zone in on the charts. So let me take a drink. And let's go. Does anyone have any questions on the profiles before I start, or volume before I start? If you do, throw it in the chat. We're going to go over the S&P, and we're going to look at it on a, I want to look at it on a lower time frame, but I don't want to get caught up too much in the lower time frames. I hope that makes sense. Let's throw the replay tool on, and let's just go back in time. All right, no data here. That is interesting. Let's do that again. I think I just went a little too far. I have to go back here, and then it'll let me do it. Probably. Why is the CME chart not letting me go back more than a couple months? That's annoying. How far does this go on my chart? It goes all the way back here. What the? Well, let's just, why did it do that? Hold on. Damn, that's weird. Okay, well, let me go look at another, it's the same, pretty much the same thing. Let me go look at this one. See if it does that. If it does that to me on this, I'm gonna have to talk with TradingView, because I pay a lot of money for this subscription to be able to backtest things. Okay, there we go. That's good enough. I will say the CME futures is a little bit better when it comes to the volume, because this is Owanda's volume, right? Owanda is not, I mean, it's a good mother. Sorry guys, I can't go back that far, I guess. So I'll do it once, and then I'll do it a little bit. Sometimes if you've ever backtested, you know the struggle. So I'll just go maybe to the beginning of the year. If it doesn't let me do that, that's some ho shit. All right, and here. Okie doke. So we really don't care if we're winning or losing trades. We kind of went over what we're looking for at the beginning of the Zoom. And now we're just gonna see what happens. Can y'all hear my music? I'm like turning it up and up and up. I don't think you can because I have my headphones in and I don't have the computer sound connected. So cool. I don't think anyone can hear it. I got it louder than normal. All right. Let's go see what we're looking at on maybe the weekly, first, monthly, and who cares what happens if we know what happens in this market? That's not what we're doing. We're doing the top down. So we're gonna put the big. All right. So right off the bat, what do we see? Low volume area, clear as day. So I'm expecting if this kind of and we can get a little surgical. Let's get a little surgical. If this pattern breaks with volume, we should see it come down here. All right. And I was about to go on to the higher time frames and all that good jazz, but this is looking too good. The daily volume profile is kind of showing very similar things. In the day before, look at this, all the way down here. So think of it like a extended and overextended markets. The point of control of the previous day usually doesn't always get hit, but it usually gets tapped before like a big move happens. In this case, right, it didn't. In this case, it just kept going and it never came back to tap into this. So what we not expect, but what we should look to target at least is the next area of volume. So this would be like the area of liquidity that some people talk about, except it's not at the bottom of the market, right? It's just in the area where the most traded price was, right? But either way, we have low volume here on the day, and it's already swiftly moved out of here once, right? So we're basically looking for this to come back to the bottom of the range, right? And it's making sense on the profiles. And let's see what we're looking at on maybe like that was a weekly, sorry. So these were the weeklies. This was last week's profile. Well, you know, while we're back testing, we need to do this. We'll do last week's POC, right? And I'm going to start talking in terms, and they're all over, they're on my screen over there. I don't know if you can like get to that, but I thought that would be kind of cool. I'm going to make these red. All right. And then we got this week's POC. Whoa. I thought I had this. There we go. Right. This week's POC is going to be right here. All right. And if we wanted to go like even further back, you know, that one was right here, but look, it got tested right there. And then why did it move so fast? I wonder why, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to mark that one off. It's already been like tested off. These are the fresh ones that haven't been tested off, right? And then this one right here is my daily one. And so the most recent one that hasn't been tapped is right here. So I'm going to just call it a untapped POC. It's just basically fresh volume. I'll call it a fresh POC. Just was never tapped into before it really took off. And these are there as well. They really are the same exact thing. So these are important prices. And some people like to draw zones. That's cool. I just stopped drawing zones eventually, really, and just look at these areas because zones are so subjective. Everyone's going to draw different zones. This kind of gives me more of a solid price. You know what I'm saying? And even down here, it got tapped a couple of times, but I'm just going to keep marking off these little prices. And another reason why I like these indicators is because I can be on the 5-minute and literally read the daily candles. This is a bull. This was a downside wick, and it closed, with kind of a wick up here, right, in the body. And then we had a bullish candle, bullish candle, bullish candle, bullish candle. And now we've had doji candles on the daily. You can read the daily candles from the 5-minute. That's what I like about it. But all right, we're going back into the actual trade, right? We want to look for it during the session that it's open, but we're just going to see how this plays out, right? So we're going to let it play out whichever way it goes, and then we're going to look at it, right? Because I don't want to trade right now. I just want to see and analyze and go over it, right? And so I'll zoom in. And we're basically looking to take it to this fresh POC. How about that? With this area also being like noted. And I'm going to just make it yellow so I know to just kind of delete it quick. Right. All right. And if it comes up into here, right, we got some fibs. We can talk about that too if it gets up there. It's lining up perfectly. So time, we're waiting. We really want this to happen more around this time. But we'll see what happens. All right. I'm not going to put my MACD on, even though that's when it gets really fun. Okay, here we go. Some interestingness is going on. Two things I see. Number one, we already know that when this breaks, we can, let's call it this area, because it really should be kind of down there. But we're looking at this more of a pattern, and we see a really good breakout right here of a pattern. So technically, I said we weren't going to trade, right? But just to show what we're talking about, technically, this wouldn't be a bad entry to take it down to, right here for a 1-to-1, or down here even, right? But what I'm seeing right here on the day, kind of, and if I bring a little bit less price into it, you see this area here as well. So if price shoots above these, it's most likely coming all the way up here. So forget your 61.8, 78, 702, all that stuff. It's coming up here. So we'll watch for that as well. That could mean this could be an L, but also we were waiting for it to get to that time. So we'll see what happens. There was only two little volume spikes on that 5-minute. Let's go over to the 1 hour and see what that looked like. Okay, so the 1 hour was nice volume, big candle, big spread, big body, same thing with a nice volume. So that's good. I like the chances of this coming down. There's still this right here, but even right here, you can see how on this area is getting ready to slide through. So we'll watch. I'm talking it through one by one. I'm watching it too, seeing what this thing is going to do. Ooh, scary, right? Why? Why do you think this happened? Because it's not the right time for this thing to do what it's supposed to do. I'm telling you, I don't trade this at this time. But we're going to keep it there and see if it explodes through right here, right? So I'm just going to bring this a little bit over. Now, if it closes one more candle, let's go to the 5. If it closes one more candle above this, we're going to X this idea, obviously, and go up with it. So we need to close above. Obviously, we don't want to just get out this trade yet if it didn't break our stop loss, but boom, okay. So it technically never broke structure. And on the real, that's how we should play it, not on some trend line shit. I don't know why I drew that. Either way, we're waiting to see now if this is going to go up to 78.6, and there's not a lot of volume with it. So you got to watch out when it's like that. Okay. So it doesn't, I don't need to take the trade necessarily. If I did, it would be like this, and it would have to be, stop loss below, like right here. and target this last week's POC. So it's not the best risk to reward. If you wanted to try to get a better risk to reward, you have to do something like this. But with it not being the right time, and I'm already seeing the divergence. Just let me show you it. It's right here. But we're testing this out right now. So we're going to see if this can pop up right here. All right, let's talk about this. So when you're in a trade like this and it starts to go your way this much, you definitely have to break yourself even, because you're on the 5 minute. You're literally like chasing price, because you didn't get in down at the bottom of the range, you got in at the top. So like you're literally saying this thing is going to fly. So once it hits, the thing about these scalps as well is I've learned this from this dude, Raja. He's a good, amazing scalper. The thing about these scalps is when you get in on the candle that you want to get in on, you almost want to have your stop loss below that candle. Now, we're not talking about entries, right? I just want to get into this a little bit, because you should know really soon if this trade is going to go your way or not. Now, me personally, I like to give it some space, even a little bit more, just because I'm not a breakout trader, but I see the volume, I see what it can do, right? So this one went a little 1-to-1, a little less, I guess. It would have been a profitable trade. You would have made some money on it. You would have scalped it. You would have been in and out. Boom. You want to know really why? Because I would have been screaming the divergence. But this is most likely, I'm just going to drag this over now. Most likely not going to reach this now. It's probably coming down here, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so big sideways, big sideways. Have we reached a new day yet? Let's keep this on. Okay, well, now we're in this day. We have a day right here that yesterday's POC. Here's another POC. So let's just watch what we got going on over here. Whenever I'm doing this live, I swear it's a lot easier because it's slower. When it's this fast, it's like, holy shit. Okay, this is going to be an area. It's a low volume, low value area, right? But it has a high volume node in it. So I'm going to watch this. Let me bring into the 1 hour real quick and see what I'm looking at. Okay, so we're fresh up at the top. There is like nothing above us at all. I got to see some more price to the left. So thing about this indicator is if there's like no highs above you, it's going to show always, it's going to show the values to the downside, because that's where the price like accumulated to go here. So you have to like get more. I guess we were at all-time highs at the beginning of this year. Man, it's been a bad year. Well, we know which way this thing's going, guys. So this is so interesting. Let's talk about this. And I'm getting a little excited. But it's very interesting because we know what happens to the S&P this year. It's bearish. It's somewhere. Maybe this ends up making more highs later. But either way, the S&P is now at these levels down here. So, but it's very interesting to note all the volume that was right here, all the point of controls that never got hit, right? And eventually we know these are going to get hit, right? So it's something very interesting to note. Obviously, hindsight, now we know these are going to get hit because it's middle of 2022, but I think that is so crazy that all these fresh volumes that never got tapped. That's something to note. That's something to note when Bitcoin starts going up again and there's a whole lot of fresh volume that never got touched. Eventually, it's probably going to come down and get it. But we got to get back into this. There's not going to be anything for me to compare this to except that there's a ton of volume up here. Okay, there we go. This will be good enough. This is more of a range anyway. Okay, perfect. This is great. So we should see if it breaks below here, it's most likely coming down into this yellow line that I'm gonna just probably all the way down into here, and I'll just make this it's structure, right? So whatever, I'll call it structure. All right, and then you see the area of no volume, right? So if it breaks here, it should just come back into this 38.2. This fib should play out, to be honest. Are we getting into that time of day yet? Finally. All right. There's a ton of volume right here. I swear this thing is, once it hits here, it's going to drop. Or these equal highs might get tapped on some yikes shit. We'll see. Low volume right here, so it shouldn't even come interested into this price. We'll stay on the 1 hour for now, because wait, I think we had some stuff talking about on 5. Sorry, there's a lot to this stuff. Yeah. Okay, so if we come back in here, we're expecting this to hold. And if we break here, basically we're expecting big drop. Even right here on like an hourly close is a good indication, but we really want the structure to break to be sure. Looks like a little bull flag, right? This area looks like I would buy from it in the real market, but we're looking at this. Okay, so perfect. We're coming up into last week's point of control, coming up into the volume pretty much of this. Here's another cool little tip. You can come over here to the fixed range volume profile, and it will do this on whatever you touch. So let's just do this impulsive move. You can see the volume from the impulse was up here, exactly where the volume is up there. So I'm just going to leave that there because that's kind of cool. We're most likely seeing some form of divergence. That's a fact right here. So let's see what happens. We're coming into the time that we need it to be. All right, we hit this, and the volume profile switches. So let's look at that. Watch that again. We were right here, and the point of control was not right there yet. It's okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it was like this. Okay, so what this is saying is that majority of the volume from December 30th to January 3rd is down here. But now watch what happens when price gets into this. I'll do it candle by candle. Okay, the sellers start to come in a little bit. Okay, this started to gain a little bit. It's starting to switch up a little bit. And then, okay, we get a big move down, right? Right after we hit this. Right after we hit this. Okay, now we're getting some volume coming in, but we're going to see some big volume coming in right here. Hold on. So let's back it up. Got to watch this thing. Okay, so remember it was down here. We said if it comes up in here, we're looking for rejection. It rejected and it starts to move down. This is the area where you pretty much should expect it to stop, or maybe all the way down into there. And it comes all the way down into here. Then it makes this retracement. Now, there's not a lot of volume here. We know this. So one of two things happen when there's not a lot of volume. It either says, no, thank you, there's no orders, I'm just going to not, or it's going to fly straight through it. Depends on, really, it just depends on which way the market is going overall. And we've pinned it bearish. So look, when this thing came down like this and made this impulsive move down and then has this rise like this, watch. It might pin the 78.6, but either way, okay. And at this point, we'd be scared. You'd be really scared to trade it because it's high volume, high candle. But the volume profile was basically telling you that there's no more, like, this is a ceiling and we're going to come down. And it slams down, right? So that would have been a crazy ass trade. And the profile was showing you it. So remember when we spoke about right here, when this area gets broken, we're expecting a crash. Basically, this area got broke and it slammed down. And it's right before the, oh, wow, I had that a little bit wrong. So that's the funny thing. That is the time that we were looking for everything to happen. And this is picture perfect. So now that we are getting the break of this area with high volume, the volume is continuing to rise on the downfall. That's usually a sign of continuation to the downside. So, or continuation to whatever side, right, that it broke. So at this point, let's go ahead and check some of our other volumes, right? The day's POC is up here now. So if we come back into here, we should probably look to short. I'm just going to mark this off red. Yesterday's POC is right here, and we already slammed through that. You see how you probably can't see it, but you see how it attacked yesterday's point of control. Yesterday's point of control was broken pretty quickly, and the price attacks it quick. So now what do we expect? Well, we probably have a 1 hour candle that looks pretty bearish, right? And what did we say when this area got broken with a 1 hour candle with volume? We said it's probably going to head towards this fresh POC. Now, when you're doing breakouts, the part of the game is sometimes you get in a little early and it pulls back a little deeper than you want. The way I trade is I would love for this to come back to today's point of control and then drop, because there is no volume here. This is going straight to here or even lower, but we have structure here. So we have to be careful. And I'll go ahead and just move the structure right there, but fuck that. The daily structure, and don't look at this daily candle. The daily structure, wicks. I'm going to put it right there. Sometimes I like to do this to see where the structure is really at. All right. So let's go back to the 5 minute. And we pretty much expect this to fall because the 1 hour closed below this area. And I mean, just look at the volume. Now, if it pulls back, we'll talk about some fib setups. In fact, we'll just do this just in case, because the POC is sitting right there. We'll take this one off. We'll take this one off. We'll put this one on. And we just started a fresh month. So that's why this one is looking like that. This is actually a monthly POC as well. And this is the daily POC. So it's because the month started right there. I need to make sure that I have the daily settings. This is daily. Yes, okay. Here we go. All right, pulled back into the area that I wanted to short from, but the volume, see, we didn't really necessarily break below it on the 5. The 1 hour did. So let's just look at seeing what the 1 hour does, right? We already know the 5 minute broke through. Once the 1 hour closes below here, we're expecting it to tank. There's no volume below it. Uh-oh. And see, that short would have been fire. The short would have been fire. And that's how we trade, right? But we're looking at this volume shit. So let's watch this thing tank through this, right? All the way down to this fresh POC, finishing out this fib extension. Oh, not yet. It's coiling up on a lower time frame. And in fact, let's go to the 15. Okay, this is what when someone says coiling up, so what they mean is there was an impulsive move, and now it's just starting to do this. Okay, if that happens, not 9 times out of 10, but a good amount, 75% of the way through the triangle, it's going to move down. So we'll see what happens. Well, that didn't form the triangle, right? So this isn't coming down. It's saying not yet. I'm not ready to break these lows yet. The 1 hour was not ready yet. We're back into an area though. That would have been a nice scalp. We're back into an area where this week's POC, we're probably at a new week. Yep. So that was last week's POC. If we're talking and then we have this week right here. So we are being patient. This red line is the POC of this. So we'll take this off. We'll take this off. We're looking at the monthly POCs at this point. So instead of putting, sorry, I said monthly, but I meant weekly. Weekly POC here. And this is another weekly POC. So we already saw once how it reacted off of a weekly point of control. And then these are dailies, and there is no fresh, this one already got hit by this. Remember that was a clean move. That got hit already, so I'm not gonna keep that out there. There is good volume there, but less volume here, right? Up here, there's less volume up here than there is over here. So we should expect this to roll over. There's nothing really saying it yet, but and it's not really time. The next time we're looking for like some type of a trade, I guess, would be here, around there. So let's just see what the indicator does. Okay, it goes up here, and it's pretty much making new all-time highs. So let's just mark that at like at a white, right? New all-time highs were broken, but check out the volume, guys. The volume was so shit. There was no volume. So that right there should tell you this might not extend. It might just fall. But we all know what happens with the freaking indices when they break and retest the top. They do go, they sometimes just ride up completely. But with this right here, I'm not seeing the volume signature that you should see with a move that is supposed to continue to the upside. So we'll see what happens. So that's called volume divergence, right? At the time we were looking to trade, it would have been sketchy. I don't know if we would have found a position, but we would have read the volume correctly, and we would have said this is some fake shit. Now let's go on to the 5 and see maybe what happened on the 5. See if there was any like breakout stuff. We were looking to trade it around 8:30. So before 8:30. And this is real easy to see now that we're on the 5 minute. And we'll take off this volume for now. So whenever there's a trend forming, you want to see on the up moves, you want to see volume rise. And you could say maybe on that one, I'll give it to it. And then on the pullback, you want to see volume drop. Okay, that's good. I can see another move out of this. But that move was nothing. And then on the pullback, there was a high volume. That's signaling interest in the downside. Volume is definitely not a signal. You don't take a signal off of volume. It's more of an art. So you learn it and let it help you with your trading, right? So this was a signal right here on this bear move that, okay, the bears are loading up maybe. Then we get this straight up move to the upside, right? That was more straight up than this, even more straight up than this down here. So that was like a very not exhausted, but extended move. Where is the volume backing that up? I don't care what time of day we're in. If it's doing that, it needs to have some volume, and there was none down there, as you can see. And so that's how we read that pretty easily right there. When it starts to drop like this, there was a little bit of volume that picked up, just a hair down there, but not enough for me to think it was going to drop here. The only thing that I would think that would have made me want to sell anywhere at the opening price, which is where all the wicks are, is maybe on my divergence indicator, MACD, maybe on my MACD that there's some divergence. We'll check that real quick. And what do you know? Clear as day on the RSI as well. So when that volume picked up, let's look at that candle. So when we see big volume, we expect a big spread candle. Is that a big spread? Look, check this out. This candle is pretty much the same as this candle or this candle, right? Maybe a little bigger, but not much, right? I would say not much bigger. But the volume was way bigger. And it's always going to be huge at the opening, but this is just pretty obvious. Then when we got this candle right here with a wick, high volume, that's another tell. Red candle right here, high volume. That's a good sign. That's a candlestick pattern. The volume increased on this pattern. That's a good sign. And then, of course, the real sign right here. Boom. That's a good short. If you want to wait for a retest of the candle that made the high volume, that's another way of playing it. Boom. Right? So these are just interesting areas. Let's see if the daily, okay, the daily profile started to come up. I bet it was like up high, even higher at one point. Let's watch the daily profile and see how it developed. Okay, it held here. As it was going up, it held here. It created what we call a rally base rally, and then it comes back into it. Supply and demand talk. Okay, then we get, let's get into these volume candles, right? Look at that. Okay, then the open happens. We get all this. This is going to just shred all this volume regardless, but this is money right there. Okay, so this was holding. When this breaks, you pretty much know where it's going next, or it should. And on this type of candle with increasing volume, that's signals. That's a signal to go. Signaling to go. And then boom, we get the even more increase. So we get the increase in volume here. We get an increase in volume on these two down candles, which is what you want to see on a continuation move. And then 3 continuing candles right into the 2 weekly point of controls. It doesn't get better than that. So this would have been like a, I was about to say, that ain't no 100 points. From tip that you don't do that. So around 18 points. And on the S&P, 18 is, that's like 180 points on another one, or 280. So now we have this big breakout that we have kind of called out through volume. And we still know that this area down here is a breakout area as well. But since we have all this, what are we going to do? I don't know. I got to see some more volume. Okay, so this area is the first line of defense, really. And it shouldn't even get up here because that's too small of a node. But it could. With this type of move, in the time of day that it happened, we are definitely expecting this to happen. But we gotta watch and see what happens down here. At the end of a trend, volume is going to pick up with a small candle. So we're gonna watch what happens down here. This might extend down. If it doesn't, though, and look, this is how not to read the volume profile. This is how not to read it. Right here, it looks like, oh, there's no volume here, right? And if it goes here, it's going straight there. That's only because there's no other candles in the picture. You got to bring more price into the picture to really see where the volume is at. And right now, we're in the heat of the moment. We're in the meat of this. But what do we see right here? A spring and a test. So this is definitely a Wyckoff type move. And if it does come back into the top of the trading range, it's an immediate short. So we're going to see what happens here. And now that these weekly point of controls have gotten hit, it's almost like we can delete them, but I'm not going to. I want to see some daily profiles. Okay, a lot of volume here. There was a lot there, and that's what happened right here. Now our POC is just right here. I'm going to keep it right there for now. Okay, we'll turn that off. I think our weeklies are still intact. Oh, we have a new weekly point of control. Why is that even there? Oh, well. So this came down here. So we're going to move. Where's the weekly point of control? This was where it was. And now it moved down here. So that's interesting. Wonder why it did that. Maybe there's a bunch of orders down here now. Two POCs right next to each other. I'm trying to make sure I mark off all the volume that I need. Okay, I think that's good. And you can still see if we slip, it's going down here. I don't want to miss anything. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. This is the point of control right now, but that doesn't help me with anything. Okay, I'm not seeing anything on that. We're in the good time of day. We basically just want to play this fib in real life. So in real life, we're bouncing off the POC. We would have taken it from here to here, and we would be looking for something. I want to keep the daily profile on, actually, because I want to see what the POC does. Okay, if we were like searching for a trade, if this breaks, it's coming up to here. And it might, let's see, divergence is there. So this is probably going to come up. Oh, let's just, for sake of the magic, let's just watch this get hit real quick. In fact, I like doing this. Ooh, that's fun. Dang, that barely missed. That's fun. Okay, so this has gotten already too close to these volumes to want to sell into them now, right? We're overextended. We have bullish divergence that has formed. I would rather see some type of move like this at this point and let this area continue to hold. There's still low volume right there, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make this actually red as well. Okay, we broke it, and it's most likely just going to go straight to the 61.8. Even though there's hidden divergence right here. So let's get this off. And hey, this right here. No, sorry, this right here and this right here is what I'm looking at. So we're still looking to short this thing. Let's drop this down. And is it the right time of day? Not even close. The right time of day is 14, way over here. So it's not really the right time of day to be messing with the market anyway. Somewhere over here, 8:30 Central Standard Time. But let's watch it fly through for this profile's sake. Now our fib's sake. So the profile showed the low volume, slammed through it, even gave a little bit more, and then the point of control of the day held it, and it started to drop. That's nice. Very nice. Let's see. Now we're getting rising volume at the end of the day as well. So this is probably going to close in about 5 minutes, but that's good. Okay. So I think the day closed like that. Yeah. So now we're getting a new profile, new day just happened. So that was clean. That was so clean, right off the POC, right off this line. I mean, was that not dope? Was that not dope? Let's look at the weekly point of control now. And the weekly has moved up here. So that moves around. There was another weekly point of control that was right there. And you can see price reacted off of that a couple of times. So I'm going to keep that there. There is, I guess, still a fresh day down here or something. Yep, a daily point of control right here that hasn't been tapped into. Okay, so these have been tapped. So I'm going to mark them. I'm going to mark it white, gray. Damn it, not that. They're still interesting prices. It's like, it doesn't just change the fact that it's not an interesting price, but this was the structure that faked out. So that's not interesting to note. That's already been hit. So that's technically not interesting to note anymore. They can all be noted, no doubt. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll go into here and I'll mark the monthly POC as well. So we'll go to the 1 hour and see what that is. And it looks like a lot of lines on your chart, but think about how many lines are on your chart when you do like all of the support and resistance stuff. So monthly POC. Okay. All right. Let's get this out. I need to change this back to the weeks. This is days. This is that. Okay. So what I would say is there's a little, I'm not seeing any volume, low volume nodes right in like an area to short from where we got price basically. So we're just gonna have to wait. If it comes up into here, it might be a short because there's not a lot of interest right there. And if it comes down into here, it might be a buy, but the higher time frames are probably saying something here that I'm not seeing. First of all, it's so bullish that like everything is crazy, but okay, well, something big is about to happen. So let's go fucking back and see before I ruin everything. Either way, we know something big's about to happen. We just got a break of these highs with, oh yeah, this was that 1 day's worth of volume. Break of the highs that just tapped into that 1 hour candle is just money. High volume doji, that's good. That's good for the bears. Let's just see what happens. There's no volume profile right now to play unless we break here, right? If we break here, we're dying. Okay, we're getting big candle, not much, not much. Volume picked up a little right there. That's, so when you see a bullish engulfing like this and the volume doesn't really do much, it shouldn't like fly this market up. Now we're getting into the good time almost. Oh, no, this is London. So London's giving us a doji off of the point of control of the middle of the range. Something to note, definitely, if we were going to play this other move that didn't break structure, that would be kind of sketchy to play. We'd be looking for the 78.6 up here, and we'll just note it with a little highlighter. All right. And it works because there isn't a lot of volume above right here. So that's good. It should hold right here. Okay, I'm not seeing anything yet with the volume signature, except this doji right here had me interested in a second, but then as it came up, the volume didn't do much. So it was showing it's not going to continue. There's a little bit of volume off that, so we might see this come up into the zone. No. Okay, so here's the candle that we're really looking at, this 1 hour doji or dragonfly, whatever, high volume. So let's break it down. Let's go to the 5 minute now. Wow, big volume, right? Like right here, right now. That's not giving me much yet, but that's telling me a ton of volume just came into the market at something happened on this day, because it said 7:55 and now it says 8:55. So something happened and that usually means something big is about to happen. But we're going to watch it candle by candle, like we're going to play it on 5. So after we've come in and kind of hit that and created this type of candle, we should expect to go down with this big of a volume on this. After missing this, but still getting into this, here's a weekly POC, and these got to be darker for me. I got to make these like this, and I got to make this darker. After it's been hit, it's not as important, but it still is, because obviously, boom. Now we're getting a big candle on the 5 minute. I'm expecting this fib right here. Some people would probably want to play this bullish fib. I'm not going to play this, even though it's coiling so nice. It looks like it might just do that, but I'm still not interested in this fib. I want to see this fall. Okay. At this point, you still got to play the 78.6 if it gets there. But again, the weekly POC rejects it like a motherfucker. Now we're back into here at this other weekly POC that you can't really see. Let's bring this to the front. Let's bring this, it doesn't matter. Okay. All right. We got a big 5-minute candle, volume increased. We should drop. We hit the 702. I'm going to do this. In real life, I would feel comfortable shorting this. Why am I not remembering where things are? I would probably short this right here, even though it didn't get to my fib. I would really want to be up there, but that's okay. And let's see if the volume can hit this, or the price can hit this. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily like the look of it after the first 5 minutes, but it's after the first 15 minutes, but that's okay. And at this point, I would have been happy as a motherfucker after saying, I don't like it. And then it drops, but the volume isn't coming with it. So what I would do is I would have to break even. Wrong way. I would have to break even. And I would say, if it falls, it falls. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So at the end of that candle, we're up here. Oh, it wasn't that. It was this. And we were up here, that. And targeting basically down here. Doesn't really matter, but the volume never picks up. It just keeps dropping. So I'm going to break this trade even. I would have partialed out after it broke a little low if I'm scalping on the 5, obviously. And the reason I'm doing this on the 5-minute is just so we can have more examples of this than just the 1 hour, but okay. And it looks like this fib probably would have maybe hit the 702 and worked out, but that's not what we're looking at. And that would have broke me even. Okay. But I still think it's going to fall. If we get a rise in volume and bearish candle, it's going to fall. Okay. So, right, short again. 1-to-1. Okay, I didn't like that actually. So in the real market, I think if you see this bearish and then this candle, this was higher than that, probably is a sign that it's not going to work out for you. Just because it's not continuing down like it should. But we'll see. Wow, nice. Nice. Okay, so we got increasing volume right here. And on this move up, was the volume increasing? I guess, but not really, right? We were seeing kind of some big volume candles. This wasn't really showing it. You know how I say, like, waiting for the big volume candle, and then like we got a bigger volume than the others. It's relative, right? But now we get 1, 2, and then we get 2 rises right there. That's very good. So on a pullback, we can short again, or we're getting a little risky playing it bar by bar now, but let's go. The follow through happened. I didn't even, I don't know why I deleted that, but boom, smashed. Hit the daily POC, the fresh one that hadn't been hit yet, and we get a actual kind of a little baby volume spike off this hammer, and boom, little scalpage that could have happened right there, playing it like that. But now that we've hit this, I'm gonna go ahead and check out some other daily profiles that got hit. Okay, boom. I'm gonna make it gray now. And I'm going to delete it actually, because I'm only really interested in the weekly and the monthly POCs for like zones. These work for targets, definitely. They can work for zones, definitely as well. But like I said, I'm looking more at the bigger ones. So we're getting close to this level where we're looking for it to fall out fast. It's noon. It's been falling pretty consecutively since the day before. So this day looked like a wick, and then it closed, woo, doji like. So before this day, I want to go look at this daily candle. Come on. I'm just trying to look at this day. Okay, this doji of a day. You see how you see how the volume on the day before was this day was bullish, but then this right here, first of all, huge candle didn't give huge volume at all. It gave more, so I could see the case on why people thought it was going to go higher, and it did. But the next day, it didn't give a whole lot of info. Let me be honest. It didn't give a whole lot of info. I thought this was going to be a little higher than what it was, but it wasn't. So let's go back to the 5-minute. We know what happens here. We get a breakdown. It comes back to our fib on a weekly POC, holds. Oh, damn. I was looking to play stuff. So we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay. So do we have any fresh POCs? No, this got hit. This one is getting taken care of right now. We're going to take that off. We're over here and we're seeing that there is no volume here. So if it breaks this, it's probably going to hit this. But we already know that this is the area that we're waiting to slip, waiting for this area to slip. And let's bring some more price into it so we can see it again. Adjust. Okay, it's not going to adjust. Either way, you can see the little bit right here. It's a fresh POC that hasn't gotten tapped. We're also expecting this to extend at least down to this level. First of all, this fib is still intact as well. So let's just see what we got going on. We know what's about to happen, but I want to play it. I want to show the volume, how it works. Okay, we got the 2 pickups, right? So if this comes back into these 2 bars that had high volume, it should be a short, right? Okay, volume just dropped big and the volume didn't. So that's telling me something is wrong right here. This is probably going to correct. So now we have a doji, a rocket, whatever it's called, with high volume. We're probably going to see this move up. Okay, now the volume's low and we're getting a wick right here. If we get any higher, we got to short it into this candle, because that was the highest volume of this candle. Oh, whoa. Well, there we go, my friend. We would have been in it. We would have seen it coming. We would have shorted it again. Just kidding. Okay, but on the real note, with this type of volume coming in this type of candle, I mean, it's screaming, I'm going to continue down. So we would do this, short this candle. We put the stop there. Really, I said we were in right here, but we would at this point pretty much expect it to dive down. But we'll wait for close below. I mean, no, we wouldn't. Look, so we're in the zone and we get 2 volume spikes with 2 candles like this. We would have to short right here, expecting it to drop right here. We can wait 1 more candle, but it's probably going to fall really fast. Yeah. I mean, I'll wait 1 more candle, but Boom. So, damn. If we waited one more candle, we would have got in right here. A little bit of drawdown. We could have put a stop there. I don't know where I would have put my stop, to be honest, because I don't like breakout trades. But this would have smacked straight to the TP. Fresh POC. Now that we've hit this fresh POC, I think it was just a daily one. We'll keep it there for now. We'll see what happens. So we broke through this. We knew it was going to go fast. It went fast. Now I'm not sure where it's going to stop. So I'm going to keep playing it. Okay. It went all the way back to this structure into another fresh POC. Is it going to come all the way down to this monthly? Well, if I'm reading the volume, trying to figure out how far this thing is going to drop based on the volume, I understood it very well right here. Even on the third one that didn't increase, that's still a good high volume. It's not higher than the previous two, but still it's good. This one's good as well. This one is starting to signal a bottom. So at the end of a trend or at the end of a move, when the volume starts to pick up and it doesn't do much, this is signaling a bottom. And now we got this type of candle. Remember earlier, that type of candle produced a little move up. Well, when you're in a down move, these type of candles are just signaling absorption. They're signaling people, the smart money, kind of putting in orders, I would say. So we should see this start to roll up soon, but not yet. The volume is not picking up at all on the downs on this correction. So before I go too far, I want to look into the 1 hour volume. And we had a big 1 hour, we're most likely going to continue. I'm going to go to the 4, hope it doesn't ruin it for us. It didn't, but we got big volume on the 4. And here it was even showing it before that, right? This big volume with this price. Get it right here, price action. This one here didn't come with the conviction, right? Look at that. And what ended up happening? It ended up going higher than that. So that's an interesting note. This is a clean Wyckoff distribution. If you want to look and you want to study a Wyckoff distribution, go from December 27th to January 5th on S&P. Wow, that's pretty. Okay. So I'm going to not try to time the bottom, but I'm going to try to figure out when the bottom of this is going to come in based off of volume, structure, and all this stuff. So we've hit structure. We've come back into a main structure point on like a 4 hour, and there's a little bit of divergence. So I'm going to watch the volume. Okay, at this point, I wouldn't really know because this daily candle just closed so bearish. Let's see where the POC is of the day. All the way up there. So right where this weekly POC is, there is a new fresh POC. And I'm going to drag this over. I don't know if I'm even doing what I want to do with this. Yeah, I am. Boom, right there. There's a fresh POC now. And structures hit this fresh POC. I'm going to keep it here for now because it's good volume. So we can use this for a possible move up. But you can see that the candles are starting to go to the downside. After a big ass candle like that, I wouldn't really try to be buying, but volume, for volume purposes, I'm going to look. Nothing, 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 nothing. Maybe it's getting ready to go up. Nothing. Never mind. Okay. So it's doing a very low volume pullback. I would say that if we look at this again from the standpoint that we were looking at, let me delete these little volume spots that I circled. If we're looking at it like this, there's not a lot of volume holding price here. So we'll bring this fib down like that now. There's most likely going, there's most likely going to be correction all the way up here. So that's how we're gonna try to time it. Oh wow, nice. Okay, so we're gonna try to figure out how we can kind of buy into that, is what I'm thinking. And it hasn't done it yet. So this would maybe be 1, 2, I would need like a 3, 4 stop hunt move to happen. Okay, that would be this. Okay, I know this is dumb, but we just hit the monthly POC, and I am going to look to see if there's any divergence, because probably is. There is volume divergence, so now we're continuing down, breaking lows without increasing in volume. So this is signaling the overextended move. We have easy spotted divergence on both indicators. So basically when this thing ticks up, or if it creates what I basically said, then we're going to look for buys. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. That that's good. I wanted to see it come up a little bit off of that, off the bullish divergence. If I was in real life trying to play the divergence, this is what I would have done. From here to here is where the divergence fib goes, and that would have been the money shot. So that's it. This day hasn't ended yet, so I'm going to delete that. And so we're still sitting in this little Wyckoff pattern, waiting on this to come tap down again, because at this point now we have hidden divergence, and we're, one or two things are going to happen. It's either going to come up here and form the divergence, or it's just going to fall and touch the bottom of the range like we want it to. Either way, it's not in the time of day that we want to trade. So let's just watch. There's the divergence. Okay, tapping the top of the range over here, but we're getting the divergence here. So let's watch this fall. All right, hold on. Let's talk about what just happened. This fell a good amount, or not like a good amount, but it fell for the time of day, at least it being. And then once we got into the right time of day, we saw a pattern, stop hunt pattern. So what this was showing is that there was no conviction here. Remember how I said that if it, and this is the reason why I wasn't buying into this right here yet, right? On the other ones, we bought on the close of a bullish volume, all that good stuff, right? Well, you can actually see on this one, it was almost giving it away. We had a bullish candle here, And then the next one to actually break the structure had less volume. And we've seen it before that it usually carries more volume with it. And then we get a doji with equal volume as the bullish candle. That was the signal. At this point, I don't know about the whole buying back up to where I'm looking for, but I am going to continue this Wyckoff look that I've been looking at, and it's not it. Okay. This would be an area of interest to short from, just because it was structure and it just got completely broken. And so we're getting volume picking up at the end of this right here. Monthly POC is getting hit. So just like the Wyckoff that I spoke about, we're getting 1, 2, 3. I think this could be, we'll see what happens right here. Where's my, what's the volume doing over here? The volume over here is basically, if we break here, it's looking like we're falling straight down. So let's look at this. If we break here, we're already breaking. It's broken too much. So when I'm looking at breakouts, if it's already started the breakout from up here, then I want this to finish the breakout. If it has started the breakout, if it started it from here, it would have been different. I would be looking to enter right now because we're getting high volume breaking these lows, or getting close to it at least. But I'm going to wait for some type of pullback. I'm going to make this white, and I'm actually going to make the text on these white because I can't even see them. That's not a fresh POC anymore. Okay, perfect. So I'm basically looking at this fresh POC to get hit if this monthly POC doesn't hold. And yeah, that's definitely holding. I would almost feel comfortable buying this back up here, but I would be like, it'd be so risky. If the next candle isn't bullish, I would be scared. I'd be like, yeah. And then within that 5 minutes, it would have came back and broke me even. But that was a nice one-to-one scalp off of volume. Boom, that would have hit. Nice. Okay. This is where I was looking to short, so we might as well see how that goes. I really wouldn't have shorted it at the 61.8, so I would still wait for one more pump up into the candle that had the most volume. So this one. This candle. Oh, it did. It touched it. Well, really, I want it to go more like right there. So I would have entered on that. We're getting high volume, so let's wait. Actually, time of day is it? So the 8. Ooh, so this would be, yeah. This is what you gotta question. Was the Wyckoff the play? And this was the test down here. If so, it should actually come down one more time before coming up. So let's go short here. The volume is not picking up yet. There's nothing signaling to me that this is going to drop. In fact, it's probably going to go up a little bit. Yeah. So this is a stop hunt, probably going to see a move down next candle. Yeah. The reason I knew that is because it came right into the structure, and it also didn't make any type of attempt to rally right here. It was just a big bullish candle for nothing. Now, what is it going to do? I don't know, because it didn't make big volume right here. It should continue to the downside after kind of making this little stop hunt move, but we'll see. I'm in the trade right here. Ooh, that would be a little, it would have been scary as it played out, but then was it closed? It's closing with higher volume. We should, that's a signal to come down, or like an early signal that this is probably coming down. We're also seeing this push down, but with it whipsaw, 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 it's low probability regardless. So it would be something that you would want to do with half risk or even a quarter. It's playing out. There's no read on this. There's no read on this. This would have been a nice scalp, right? But that's about it, maybe. Now we have a little bit of something to look at. Would I feel comfortable shorting that in the live market? Probably not. It's just a 5-minute candle, but with there not being a lot of volume up there, I would be a little interested. But the only thing is that if this would have closed bullish candle, like with a big body, I would expect it to go, but it didn't. So I gotta wait for the next candle. If the next candle's bullish, it's probably going to start to go up here, just like I spoke about from the Wyckoff, right? It's not a good sign on this candle. So could have been another little baby scalp if you wanted, but this candle gave some good volume on that wick. So I don't like that. This is probably going to move up. I'm going to sit out. I'd have missed. So we have a volume candle with volume, so that's good. This is probably coming down. I'm not sure. Reading 5-minute candle by candle is not really ideal, but it is for backtesting purposes to show more examples. Where is my daily point of control at this point? Yeah, we were struggling to break it the whole time down here. And now it's moving up. We might get this, if we get a volume spike above here, it should move to the upside. I'm almost sure it's going to start to move up now, but the volume hasn't done what I wanted it to do. Nope. That's more of a signal that it's going to continue to the upside. So the next candle, if it breaks this kind of area with more volume, we should look for shorts. Now, one thing I will say is that this is diverging. So where I would look to maybe get out of it would be at my divergence fib up here. So this is kind of not the best. Maybe what I'll do is when it gets here, I'll look for this. Oh, whoa, hold on. Either way, I will say it over and over. I'm not a breakout trader. I don't love breakouts because it feels like I'm chasing price. So that's not the candle I want. That's not the candle I want. That is the candle I want, but it didn't give me the volume I wanted. So we're probably going to see a pullback. This shouldn't just extend out of here yet. It shouldn't because of the volume, but we'll see. And also I want to actually, where's my divergence fib? I need to keep that right there to see if it's going to turn around right there. So exactly, this was a good example of when not to get in on a breakout because the volume didn't increase with it. So maybe right here as it comes into the old structure, this is old structure, and this is the point of control of basically the day. I don't need that on right now. So it might hold right here and go. We'll see. I'm not feeling super comfortable with it, but if volume picks up, then yeah. Nope. One thing I will say though is how price is moving down kind of fast. The volume isn't picking up to the downside. It's not like, ooh, stop hunt. It kind of actually looks like this is going to move up, but we'll wait for a candle to show it with volume. There it is. So now the market should move to the upside. I mean, not necessarily, but that's what I would be looking for. Didn't hold. So the next candle, next couple candles didn't follow through. And then we had first of all, it's not the right time of day. On a breakout, you want to see that usually around 8:30, but yeah, it just didn't break out like I wanted it to. It's holding still here. My stop would have probably been right there, to be honest with y'all. The setup would have looked like this. Stop below this little range. You know, to be safe, you want to put it there, but that's a little too much for me. And then target these areas, probably even way up here. But this was the broken structure. So we would probably just take it to right there. And you can see the volume. There's no volume there. That's why I'm even looking at that idea. But if the Wyckoff is supposed to play out, there's actually supposed to be one more touch here, or it's supposed to just kind of chill right here and then go. But we'll see. Okay, let's talk real quick. As this comes into profit before hitting the stop, and it doesn't increase in volume here, you already pretty much need to get out of the trade when you're back in profit. Just pretty much get out. So this would have been X'd out. I know I did that a little late, but I'm just explaining how it would have really went. I said this is how the Wyckoff should play out. It should come into here. We should tap into this. I don't think it should go it could go lower. There's no telling, but we're waiting for a good time of day to really check a breakout, which would be at 8-ish. So let's put that there. Let's see what happens. So we tap into this. There was a little bit of increasing volume to the downside as this moved down. So I might expect this to make one more move to the downside, right? Hold on. There's no volume right now. Dead. So you pretty much stay out. And volume picking up a little bit at the point where I would look for, you know, shorts probably. But with no volume like that, really, I'm asleep at this time of day. No, not yet. I'm like asleep right. Oh, maybe I am. Oh, well, that would have played out. No volume yet. No volume yet. Nothing's going on. And okay, this is doing what I wanted it to do. So we're getting the move down. We're coming into the time of day that we needed to come into. We're getting a lot of divergence. I can tell you there's multiple time frame divergence right now. You can see it on the RSI here. As we're coming into these lows, MACD heavy. So we're gonna see what happens. I want to see this low get taken out. And then I want there to be some type of divergence, but there's just not a lot of interest down here. And we know if this breaks, it has a chance to go down to the fresh POC. So we gotta really watch we got a range. That's what we want to see. And then we want to see it break out of the range with high volume during the time of day that we want. So I would probably look for some type of shorting opportunity right here, because we had an increase in the price, but the volume is just, what in the world? So I don't 100% know yet what's going to happen. I would like to wait for this time. But yeah, that would have kind of been an obvious area, or not obvious short, but just like, why is the price moving so much and the volume is not at all? You know what I'm saying? At least on this downside, there was like volume kind of did pick up. Like that's what you want to see, but it didn't at all when it was going up right here. And then it even gave you some like divergences on your indicators, right? And then a little test, you know, if you would have went short here somewhere, I don't know, was there any type of volume? Yeah, this one gave volume. If you went short here, you definitely wouldn't put your stop there. You'd want to target the monthly POC, and you want to like a 1-to-1 at least. Boom. But now we're getting into some high volume on this drop right here. We're coming into this area as well, and we didn't get good volume bouncing off of it. So that's interesting. We got to see what's going to happen. That's crazy. Volatile. Let's see. So we have a big selling candle. This would have been the shorting opportunity if you were trying to short off of that. It would have been in here, but now we're getting this candle. There is good volume with it, but it's not increasing. It's not more than the previous one, and this is a bigger spread. So this probably isn't going to extend, but we got indicators pointing up. We got to wait. This is probably going to drop, but it's too rangy to try to sell it. Yeah, it dropped. Okay. Well, now that we've kind of made a 1, 2, 3, I want to see this maybe hold for a move to the upside. I wouldn't trade it. I want to just see it hold. Yeah, okay, it didn't hold. Hold on, let's talk about this. We're getting the breakout that we've been waiting for. So here's the range. We're breaking out of it. We have very little divergence. It's there on the RSI more than anything. So if I was going to trade it, I would have to wait for a deep divergence fib. So I'm selling this basically. And on this candle is the candle to sell on. If you wanted to wait, because the candle before it, it didn't have any volume, or it did, but not a lot, not even as much as the previous. But then this one with that type of wick indicating that buyers tried and failed, that's a short. So you could short this candle, and you should probably put your stop right at it. And then we're going to target this. The next candle needs to be widespread, and this is so risky. I even know what it's doing, but I don't know what it's doing, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put it above 3 candles, and that's what you want to see in the price. That's not what you want to see in the volume. Indicators, yes. Price, no. Okay, well, you don't really care at this point because now you're at 1-to-1 and you've made some money, but we're still expecting it to expand. It did make a little bit higher volume, so that's good. That's just a low volume pullback. Higher volume pullback again, so it's probably going to go short here. I would probably break even at this point. Nothing's saying anything other than it's going to continue. But one thing I will say is that on this drop, the volume didn't increase as much as I wanted it to. There's just signs of sellers, right? So I'd be at break even. On this move down, is that how it didn't break and it made some volume? That's a question mark. Okay, we'd be out the trade, but this is going up on low volume. Big candles, low volume. So we're expecting it to drop. Let's see if we can get a point of control for the day. Okay, we're up here, way up here for the point of control for the day. And that's really high. So I don't think it's going to get up to there. In fact, for the day, it's probably only going to get to right here. So let's see. Okay, we got into the area that I thought, and look, this is screaming this is going to continue to fall, or I don't know if it's screaming that, but it should continue to fall. So as we come back into this range, it does kind of do this Wyckoff move that I like to see. The RSI did that. Did it hit the divergence fib? I think I deleted it. Almost. Okay, we move out of it. There's low volume though. This is what I'm trying to get at. There's just low volume with these big candles. So this is probably going to roll over. It might tap into this POC. It might, but I doubt it. Still low volume, big candles. This is getting ready to, it's like stop hunting or getting orders that people have gone short from up here because there's just no volume here. See, this would definitely be one that we would have shorted like this. And it would have been half risk only because this is like a falling wedge-ish pattern that could break out. It's the Wyckoff accumulation. Really, I kind of want to buy into this area and watch it go up, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so it's kind of the area I wanted to look to buy at right here, the bottom of this trading range, how we made a ST, and phase B. This is a spring, this is a test. This would be where I would take my profits from the sell, and you'd have to look for longs right here. There's no volume with that, so we're gonna wait. Time, day, picking up again, volume off the bottom of the trading range. That's what you want to see, but there's no sign of buyers yet. I would have a limit if I was trading this. I would have literally had a limit order right in this box. So let's see if that gets tapped. Oh, no, no, no. So yeah, that would have been probably an L. That's okay, dope. I think that's my first L this whole time, but this type of dead volume right there, I don't know what that's all about. This is the end of the day anyway. That would not have been a position. I didn't know what time of day it was, but look at this. We got this break of the bottom of the trading range. Let's see if this heads to the POC. I would have had a divergence fib set. Oops. Oh, yeah. Wow. Way down there. Never mind. It's not even close. This is probably going to extend to the fresh POC off of this retest. No, back into the trading range. Okay, there we go. All right. So once it came back in here, what did we see? Let me talk about this. Low volume as price is moving up. That's a signal. And it came back into a monthly POC. And when it gave this big breakout candle at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., and it followed it with increasing or good volume, increasing spread, that's a good signal. This would have been the short. $78.6, and it would have been money. Daily POC, we're at it now. So we're at, oh, I didn't even note this, but this was yesterday's point of control as well. So yesterday closed like this, or in this thing. And I should have done this and extended this out for the next day. Because look how that line gets hit. This line right here. Boom, boom. Moves off of it. Okay, now we're back in it. Now we're back in it. Great. We're back in it with a low volume, and I got to get rid of some of these lines. This is the POC that we're looking at of yesterday. Since we hit it, it should hold. But here's today's POC, so we're kind of in a weird spot. I would short this though. And I would expect this monthly POC to hold and come down to this fresh. The risk on this is that it has wedged up completely at this point. This thing could be at any moment ready to fly to the upside, but I mean, there's still shorting opportunities on the lower time frame, so I'm going to play them. If it decides to break this structure here, let's see. If it decides to break the structure here, it's most likely coming up into this. Okay, so if there's an opportunity for me, maybe if it does this, then I'll look for buys down there to get it up there. Okay, so I would be looking to short soon. Let's just see what happens. I'm getting ready to get off. That would have been a great short, guys. That's a good way to end it. That's a great way to end it. So confirmations on this. Let's try to find some. Number one, we talked about this already, how it dropped out and there was good volume with it supporting it. One thing I've said, right, the candle with the most volume, which would be, I would say this one, this is 2 down candle, this one. So you could have just simply took an entry off of that. It would have worked out. The fib 78.6 missed, but the monthly POC I said held. There was no volume candles to really enter off of until this one. So entering here with a stop maybe above here would have worked out as well, targeting the fresh POC or the extensions. So that was a really good way to end it. That was one of the better backtesting sessions I've ever had. So I'm gonna definitely recommend people to go back and look at everything. It's a lot of lines. If you don't understand it, I understand. But when I go live, I'm going to be diving into this. So hopefully some people can understand where I'm at on that. I appreciate you for coming on and learning. Anyone who watches the divergence fib is a secret. Just kidding. It's not. Check it out. Let me stop the recording real quick.